Hi everyone, my name is Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today is podcast episode number 6. So in today's video, I have a finished object to share and also some new work in progresses that I'm very excited to talk about. 2-hour wash, which is big for me normally. But yeah, I don't know if it's because the weather has finally kind of decided where it wants to be right now, or maybe it's because the sun has been out more, but I have been knitting like crazy. Like, if I have time, I'm knitting. Something is always in my hands. I always need to be doing something, and that's how I kind of typically am anyway, because I feel like if I have time to sit and watch something, I want to be knitting. Like, my hands feel empty when I'm not knitting. And then also, a fun fact about me is I really like to keep up with court trials and things like that. And one of my favorite YouTubers, Emily D. Baker, shout out to Emily, has started broadcasting live court again, and that used to be my thing, sitting down to watch court and knitting all day long while court is in session. So that started up again, and I think that definitely has contributed to my kind of knitting spree that I'm going through right now. But yeah, I'm going to start off with my finished object, which is the Darling Cardigan by Kutova Kika. So I showed this cardigan in my last podcast episode, and it was only just the body. I hadn't done the sleeves or the button band or anything, but now it is finished and I'm so excited about it. I think it looks so good. It's quite a boring gray color, but I definitely always need staples in my wardrobe, and so this is kind of the perfect staple. I wear a lot of pastels or black, which is the complete opposite, but I typically always really need more staple kind of layering pieces. So this is definitely one of them, and I'm very happy with it. I think it turned out really lovely, and I chose these really pretty, I think they called tortoise shell buttons to go on it. And I think it just really adds a nice little pop of color when it's brown, but I don't know. I think it looks really well with it. I didn't want to go with gray or white. I knew I kind of wanted to go with a darker button. I really like that style and that look, especially with gray cardigans or sweaters. I don't know, something about it it really speaks to me. So about this cardigan, I'm not sure how much I kind of talked in detail in my very first podcast, because this is my second time making this cardigan. So I will just kind of go over briefly about the construction and kind of how this sweater is created. And this is a drop shoulder sweater, so you cast on the back panel to however long it says in the pattern for your size, and then you pick up on the shoulder pieces and kind of work the two front pieces until you reach that same desired length, and then you connect, and it'll connect under the armpit, and then you work flat for the rest of the body. And when you pick up for these stitches on the front, it just creates this really lovely looking stitch line that I just am so obsessed with. I really like the way it looks. I really like where it sits, and it sits pretty much exactly where it kind of is sitting on the hanger here, kind of right at the middle of the shoulders-ish. So when you pick up the front two panels, you are also working increases for the button band as well. And then they stop kind of in the middle-ish of the sleeve, or kind of very at the end. Yeah, I guess middle-ish, end-ish of the sleeve. And then you just work flat until you get to the button band. So the entire cardigan is worked in on a 5mm needle until you get to the button band, and that is worked in the 3mm needle. And as you can see, with the 2 sizes smaller, it just creates such a nice fabric. I really enjoy how small it looks in comparison to the actual stitches. I don't know. I just really like the way it looks, and I feel like when I pick up or change needles for the ribbing, it's only one size down, And it does the job, definitely. But there's something about the 2 sizes down and how, like, small it gets. I don't know. I really like it. It's a 2x1 rib for the bottom and then also on the sleeve as well. And for the sleeves, you pick up stitches along kind of the sleeve hole that you left after you connected the panels together. And then you work a few decreases along the way until your desired length or the length recommended in the pattern. I actually made my sleeves 2 centimeters longer because I think in the original pattern it's supposed to be like bracelet length, and I kind of like my sleeves a little bit longer, so I did 2 extra centimeters on both sleeves, and then it kind of lands around here on me, which is really perfect. I like a little little length, and I also think I don't want to say like abnormally long arms, but I think I have a bit of longer arms than maybe normal. So the extra length on the sleeve really helps me. And I think it's also nice too because I feel like with too short of sleeves, you can't really you can't like push them up or anything like that too easily, but with this, I definitely can. So yeah, that is my darling cardigan. This is my second time making it, and I loved it just as much as the first time making it. The only adjustments I did make is the extra 2 centimeters on both the sleeves, but that didn't require any math or anything like that. I had finished my decreases by that time, so it was really just until I felt like they were long enough. I am so excited to wear it out. My roommate I made one for my roommate at the beginning of this year, and she wears hers out literally everywhere, and I'm so obsessed, and I really wanted to make myself one, so I'm glad that I have finally done it, and it is done, and I will be wearing it out tomorrow when I go out for the very first time, because while I really enjoy cardigans in the summer, if it's too hot, I'm not going to wear a wool cardigan, so I'm really looking forward to kind of a bit of a cooler day tomorrow, and I am going out in the morning, so it's going to be cool enough for me to comfortably wear this without feeling like it's icky. Yeah, I think that's everything. The yarn I used is Drops Air in the color Pearl Gray. So, and I used Drops Air for the other cardigan that I made for my roommate, in kind of this darkish tan color, but I really love Drops Air, and I really love the way it works up. I really love the affordability of it. I think for me it's about $5.60-ish. So I think that is really affordable for a wool alpaca blend yarn. And I did use the recommended yarn amount. It worked out fine. I think I used a little bit more, obviously, because I extended the sleeves, but if I hadn't have done that, then everything would have been completely on where it needed to be according to the pattern. Yeah. I think that is it for my darling cardigan. Okay, so now let's get into my works in progresses. So I have 2 works in progresses, or 2 whips, and my very first one that I want to talk about is another cardigan. If you've literally watched any of my videos, you know that cardigans are kind of my lifeline in the summertime, or really any time, but definitely in the summertime. So I have decided to start another cardigan. This is the Isa cardigan by Vert and Roses. I have had this in my pattern library for a few months now. I bought it, I guess at maybe the summer of last year or the fall of last year, along with a couple other patterns. And I finally decided that I wanted to make this one because I felt that the yarn that I had in stash was perfect for the pattern. So let me share a little bit about it with you. So this is a top-down cardigan, which is definitely new to me. I did my Darling wrap, which was top-down, and I didn't hate the experience, but it definitely wasn't the easiest. I had some qualms with the way the pattern was written, but that aside, the only negative that I have with working from the bottom up is you can't really try things on, and that kind of bothers me as someone that has a bit of weird proportions. I wouldn't say like weird necessarily, but I guess not typical proportions. So, and I also like my things very specific. So being able to try stuff on is really important to me. So working from the bottom up has been a bit difficult, knowing that I can't just like throw it on and see how it's going to fit, or the length is really my concern for cardigans. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but with this pattern, it is quite easy to figure out where it's going to land on me because it is worked flat. And it also is not the 2x2 rib that I worked with my Darling wrap, which that really needed like time to bloom, and it needed a block for me to really kind of get a sense of how it was going to fit. Whereas this, it has some lace to it, which I'll show in a second, but the majority of it is stockinette. So I know for a fact that it's not going to change like too much. It'll obviously grow a little bit with blocking, but it's not going to bloom the same way that the 2x2 rib did. So it's a little bit easier to kind of see where I'm at, which is really nice. I appreciate that with this pattern. So this is the Iso cardigan. I'm going to try to show it the best I can on my needles. I don't have a long enough cord for this. But the main focal point of this cardigan is this really lovely lace pattern that is going to be on the very front of the cardigan. So this is the button band, and then this is right next to the button band. So it's just this really gorgeous, simple lace that, yeah, you can definitely see it better back here, but it's a very simple pattern. It's a 8-row repeat with only lace on the knit side and then normal purling on the other side. So it's very easy, and once you get the hang of it, you definitely probably don't need to look at the chart. I still have it with me just in case at all times, but it's very easy to remember, and I think it's only like 20 some stitches, so it's not a very long repeat either. So you start with the button band. You cast on a bunch of stitches for the button band, and then you cast on stitches for the ribbing, and you work the button band at the same time as you work everything else in the pattern. But you start with this ribbing, and then you go into the lace and stockinette portion. So it's been a pretty simple knit. I really like working the button band at the same time. Love that. So I don't have to pick up stitches, because I find sometimes when I pick up stitches, especially for the button band, it gets a little, not messy, but I just don't find that I pick up stitches for button bands very easily. So this is really nice, being able to have the button band worked at the same time as everything else, and you don't have to do that afterwards. So I'm at the kind of main body part of the cardigan, and then once you reach the suggested length for your size, then you are going to split the front and the back. So I'm almost there to where I need to split the front and then the back panel, and you kind of work that way, kind of like in a reversed drop shoulder. I don't know if I'm describing that correctly, but that's how I think of it in my mind. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how the rest of it is going to work up. I think I have about 2 centimeters left of the main body part, and then I will do that split and then work from there, and then the sleeves. So I'm really hoping to get kind of the body part and at least one of the front and the backs done this weekend, perhaps, because I really want to see how it comes together, and then I'll just have the sleeves, which are worked in plain stockinette. So I'm really excited. I think it looks really gorgeous, and it's so like just such a nice, dainty, gentle lace pattern that it does the job, but it's not overly complicated, you know. But I think it's just so pretty. And I really like this color that I have chosen. This is Drops Air Blush Pink, I think. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere, because I don't think I have a ball here, but it just tells me the color number, which is 3145, but is this kind of very cool toned pink. Sometimes I feel like this looks very purple, like even now it kind of looks pretty purpley, but it's pink. It's definitely pink, but it's a very cool toned pink. So I really kind of enjoy that. I know the last project, my October sweater, I also worked in Drops Lima, and it kind of had that same like color shifting vibe. Like I felt like it was quite purple at some points and quite brown at other points, and I think this has the same issue. It is quite pink in some lights, but it is also quite purpley blue in some lights too, which I'm not mad about because this is a spring cardigan for me, a spring/summer cardigan, and I think that's just like perfect. Like pink or purple is really great for the spring. Yeah, I really like working with Drops Lima. This is my second time working with it as well. I think it has really great stitch definition, which is kind of why I wanted to choose it for this cardigan. Because with the little lace thing, I knew I wanted something with good stitch definition. I didn't want to have like a super fuzzy yarn or anything with mohair because I think that would really take away, especially because it isn't like this long stretched lace. It's this very concentrated, simple kind of lace. So I knew I wanted something with good stitch definition, and this definitely has it. I just really like the way it looks even unblocked. Like once it's blocked, it'll look even better. So that is the Isa cardigan by Vert in Roses. Okay, my next work in progress is a collaborative knit along I'm doing with my best friend. We sat down for like 3 days and looked through a bunch of projects that we kind of knew we wanted to do and decided to do one together. So we created our own little knit along. It's kind of a little bit on loose terms. It's not like anything super serious, but we did put a time limit on it for the middle of next month. So I'm hoping to finish it by then, which I think I will because I'm like so obsessed with making this. It's a bit hard to hold up naturally because I don't know how to show off things very properly, but this is what it looks like. And then this is the back. So I have just connected all kind of like the pieces here. So this is the whole back and then 2 panels for the front, and then I literally just connected here like the other night. So yeah, I really enjoy this pattern that I'm working on. Let me actually get the name because I forget the name of it. Okay, so this pattern is literally called the Zipper Sweater by Le Pool. Words are mixing up there, but it is pretty much the standard like zip up kind of polo vibe striped top, and we knew that we kind of wanted something with a little color work. This isn't technically color work, it's just stripes, but we knew we wanted something a little bit more than just a plain stockinette project. So we decided to make this pullover zipper sweater, and it actually really works out because if you watched my Make 9, something very similar to this is on my Make 9. So I am pretty much counting this as that project because it is essentially the same. It just has a zipper instead of the collar. But I really enjoy how it is looking. I'm like connected to my yarn thing here. Hold on. It is another one of those drop shoulders where you work the back and then you pick up the 2 panels for the shoulders. And with this, because it is a zip up and it has like a very thick like zip button band kind of situation, so you basically work flat until you are done working the increases and things for the zipper, and I've just hit that part, and then you will work in the round for the rest of the sweater. So I'm very excited to work in the round because I don't like purling. I hate purling. I've gotten better at it, and I've gotten better, like, realizing that's not terrible, but I will never ever choose to purl over knitting the round. So as I say that as I have been making cardigans left or right, but I'm very excited to work in the round here until the end, and then the sleeves will be in the round as well. And then for the zipper button band situation, it is a double knitted button band, so I'm a little nervous about that, but excited at the same time. So yeah, this is all I have so far. I really like it, and I really like the yarn that I chose. So it is a DK weight pattern, and it's worked on 4mm needles for the majority of the body / project. And then I think it's 3.5 and 3.25 needles for the double knitted zipper button band, and also the ribbing at the bottom. So the yarn I chose for this is Sire, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but I chose Alpaca 2. So I chose this in this kind of standard cream color, and then this almost milk chocolatey kind of brown. So I really like my choice of this. Is a 50% wool and 50% alpaca. So it definitely is, it has a little bit of fuzz. Here, you probably see it better on here. Just like the tiniest bit of fuzz. And it's also very light and airy and not scratchy at all, not itchy at all, but also not like super soft where I'm worried it's just gonna like pill instantly. So because these are 2 fingering weights, I am holding them double. So one thing in the pattern is that when you cast on, this is kind of like a cheat technique, but I have never done this before, but when you cast on, or when you pick up stitches for the 2 front panels, it had you work them together. So what you did was you picked up stitches for the right side, and then you started a new ball and picked up stitches for the left side, and you kind of worked them on the same cord. I did not do that because since I'm holding it double, I would have had to work with 4 balls at once per color. And to be honest, that didn't sound very appealing to me. So I made the decision to just pick up each section on its own, which was fine. That's how I typically know how to work drop shoulders. So that's just one thing. And my roommate did hers together, which she said was fine. She's only working with 1 ball per color, since she did find a DK weight color set of yarn. But since I am already working with 2 balls per color, that did not sound fun to me, trying to manage, 4 balls of yarn at once, and then 8 balls really kind of all together, because I'll need 2 for each color. But yeah, that's kind of the only modification I have made so far. My gauge is correct. I hit gauge easily with the held double fingering, which I was a little bit worried about, but because I feel like this is quite I don't want to say thin, because I don't think it's necessarily like a light fingering, but when I was holding it together and making my gauge compared to my best friend, I was like, this seems so small, but no, I hit gauge perfectly, so that is that. So yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about this episode. A bit of a shorter episode, but it is what it is. It's that's all I have to share. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I also want to say thank you so much to everyone that gave my last video, my free patterns video, so much love. I did not expect it to kind of get that much attention. So if you have made it this far and you have any ideas for more free patterns, I would love to do kind of more videos on that, whether it be specific like tops, bottoms, accessories, things like that. Let me know what you want to see, and I will happily make some more. I plan on making some more regardless, but I would love to hear what you guys want to see, because there are so many free patterns out there that I could literally probably make hundreds of videos on all the free patterns. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for watching this podcast episode, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!